too.
All right.
That's important.
I think so.
I think so too. And I want to talk about lots of stuff. Hey, everybody, let's celebrate free speech. We have a podcast called The Tara Show, the First Amendment. Let's us have this. We're going to talk about lots of things. We can say Charlie Kirk's name whenever we want because you can do it at Starbucks. Did you know that people are going to Starbucks and they're saying that their name is Charlie Kirk when they order their Starbucks because the First Amendment? Hey, Devlin, how's your First Amendment rights going today? How are you enjoying the Constitution?
Well, I feel that we're under attack. That's all. And I'm not. And feelings in this circumstance are facts. As my therapist
this
says.
Entire show is dedicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, today's entire show is dedicated to Jimmy Kimmel and everyone who loves Jimmy Kimmel, which are people who love the First Amendment. I'm going to go ahead and say that. You love the First Amendment, then you love Jimmy Kimmel's right to discuss Charlie Kirk and the whole situation around Charlie Kirk. And it's my understanding, Devlin, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'll be the first one to admit it if I am. Jimmy Kimmel's job is to help his audience parse what they're hearing and seeing and living through. And when he was doing this particular monologue, he was trying to frame the whole right-wing mishigas around this discussion. And when he was doing this particular... And so what he said was, what it looks like is this. They're pointing fingers at the left, but to cover up this, and this is what they're doing. He was just given a timeline.
It was nothing. And he said that in between the finger pointing, they are, I assume, or engaging in some grieving or something like that. And whoopee-doopie, that's not mocking Charlie Kirk. Yeah, that's not mocking his murder. That's not denigrating what happened. It's just pointing out the fact that maggots are making political points. How they always talk about when children are needlessly made dead in elementary school or whatnot, or others in a supermarket or concert or wherever the hell, walking down the street here in America. It's always too soon, right? But it's, as far as with Charlie Kirk, it doesn't seem to be too soon to simply blast everyone. Who's this ubiquitous they? That's the other thing.
I don't know.
It's fascism. That's who it is. It's
it is. Knock.
Right. And calling this, their behavior fascist, calling Trump a fascist. Who else called Trump a fascist? J.D. Vance, as far as I remember, called him America's Hitler. Exactly.
Yes, he did.
So,
and the First Amendment protected him when he did that. And anybody who has their free speech suppressed, if they do it to one, they do it to all. Because the First Amendment is there to protect all of us equally. You don't have to agree with somebody, but you don't threaten their livelihoods when you don't agree. And as we were saying before we joined, and I think a lot of people are saying this, you don't like something that's on TV. It's 2025. You have a bajillion different options. Change the channel. Change the channel. You have the freedom of choice along with the freedom of speech. And what they're doing is suppressing any speech they don't like because it hurts Donald Trump's feelings. A bullshit. That is a bullshit. One of the memes that I'm sharing right now, a MAGA shot another MAGA, and the MAGAs are mad at the Democrats. Make it make sense. What they were hoping for is not what they got, because we don't accept bullshit without questioning it, right? The MAGA cult is like, feed us more lies. We love lies. We live on lies. That's our identity. We need this identity. We need to remain within this very narrow space that safe space that we've created for ourselves. Liberals are like, hi, a groyper is not a liberal. And I don't, honestly, the Grindr fan fiction that Kash Patel wrote, where they were allegedly texting, where Tyler is texting his lover, and like, I did it, my love. Nobody talks like that.
No, it's
no
fake.
Humans talk in any way of the way this chat GPT fanfic from Grindr or wherever Kash Patel pulled it from. Nobody talks like that.
And that's how that goes to show you how incompetent they are. Because
Yes.
how hard is it? If you're going to fraudulently, if you're going to fraud and fake texts, how hard is it to make it actually look effective and reasonable? Where to the point
I
where
don't know.
the
I
likes of
personally do not
Candace,
know.
the likes of Candace Owens, and all these maggots on the right are like, this is not real.
Exactly.
They would eagerly love to eat that shit up, but they're so
Yeah.
incompetent that they can't. They're just like, wow,
It-
this is messed up. I mean, I'm trying to pull it up for people who
I know. The
who don't
the
have it.
irony is burning white hot for me in particular because I got real threatening texts last Saturday. I have shared the screenshots of those texts. It is my pinned tweet. It's my pinned thing on Blue Sky. And I shared it, of course, on Instagram, and I shared it on Facebook, and I shared it on my Substack. Twitter was the only place that I got trolled for sharing my harassment. Everywhere else, it was, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Normal human reactions. Oh my God, stay safe. A lot of people messaged me. People I haven't actually heard from in a while messaged me. Like a guy that I hooked up with 10 years ago messaged me. We're in sporadic contact. He's local. And he's like, are you okay? I see what they do to you. And I'm really worried about you. Like, is there anything I can do to help you? You have my number if you ever need to, get out of, and you can always come stay with us. And because he's married now with a little baby. And I'm just like, I'm like, well, thank you. If you gave me a list of people who I would call first if I needed escape, you wouldn't be in my top 25, but thank you.
Well,
Like that
it's
kindness
nice.
is wonderful. It's the unexpected kindness and love on Twitter. Like, look at that. Nobody
Drop
talks like
what you
that.
are doing and look under my keyboard. When the roommate looked
Nobody
under
says
the
that.
keyboard, there was a note that allegedly read, I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it. Roommate, what? You're joking, right? I am still
okay, my love.
my love. But am stuck on Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I come home. But I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old
Talks like
age.
this?
Nobody. I am sorry to
Russian.
involve you.
Right? It's a
You weren't
bad
the
Russian
one.
translation.
Exactly. That's it. You weren't the one who did it, right? Like they're so incompetent they have to outsource this to Russian bots and Russian trolls, basically, the Russian troll farm. I'm sorry. I thought they
This is
caught the
bullshit.
person. No, they grabbed
No,
some
see-
crazy old dude and then interrogated someone in similar clothing. Who even talks like this?
Nobody.
I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of the side of town
Drop
got locked
point?
down.
Russia.
It's quiet,
The
almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. One vehicle
Who says
lingering.
vehicle? We don't
Especially
say
a 22-year-old.
We don't say lingering.
Says
Look.
lingering. Vehicle lingering.
Listen, no.
Son
I have a
Kate.
22-year-old son. He does not talk anything like this.
No.
Neither does my 26-year-old.
No.
Nobody. No humans talk like this.
If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have
No.
left no evidence.
That is so Russian. That is such
It is.
Russian cadence.
Yeah.
Stop it. I'm
Going
done.
to
And the
attempt
irony.
to retrieve it again. Retrieve it.
Yes,
Hopefully
stop it.
they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. How long have you been planning? A bit
You know
over
what
a
this
week.
This sounds like also like when foreign films have to be dubbed into English and the actor is very stiltedly doing the dialogue
Yes.
because of the odd translation.
wish
the
I had
irony
circled
of
back.
this is ridiculous. Nobody talks like this, and this is so
That's-
fake. And everyone's like, no, that's real, that's real. But they think the texts I shared are fake. That I made them up. That I created the screenshots. That I called myself from a burner and then made screenshots and texted myself. I don't know how to do that. And even if I did, why would I do that? Because then they are accusing me of filing both a fake police report, which I would never do, because that's a felony. And they're accusing me of filing a fake FBI complaint, which would also be a felony if I did that. And by the way, I got on the real phone with a real FBI agent on Tuesday and spoke with her and read her the text. She was like, yeah, you don't have to read me anymore. That's more than enough to open an investigation. I was like, awesome. Thank you so much. So, I know what's real and I don't have anything to prove to anybody, and I don't go out of my way to prove. You don't want to believe me. I don't care. You want to believe that's real, but my shit is fake. You are living with your head in the sand. You are eating the lies and begging for more. And that is the cult mentality. It's a little bit of what we talked about with Dr. Jeffrey the other day on Tuesday, and their safety feelings, the safety in numbers. We think the same way. We feel the same way. I feel protected in this space. And I saw a really cool video explaining all of this and why we get frustrated, because they're not interested in the truth at all. It's not about the truth for them. It's about being able to maintain this safe space that they've created for themselves. And the only way we're going to get through to them, because you can tell them the truth, you can show them the truth, you can say Fox News verified Trump's signature on the birthday letter. They don't want to believe this, they don't want to believe that. What he said was the only time you're going to change their minds and get them to turn is when the lies become unsustainable for them personally, and the lie outweighs the value in their own life. So eventually, the impact of the raised grocery prices, the impact of not being able to afford their rent anymore because of the rent hikes, the impact of not being able to, whatever it is that's important to them. They can't buy Mountain Dew because it costs too much money now. I don't know. But the sentiment was, there's really nothing that we can do to change their minds. All we can do is continue to be telling the truth within our spaces, right? We tell the truth in our spaces. We go to the media. We hold them accountable. We hijack their tweets and put in the truth when we see the media not acting, appropriately. That's what we do until we don't have to do it anymore. But it's not going to, we're not changing. And I've talked about this with Hal, and Hal understands this also. And I think John Fugelsang, who will be on John's show tonight on Sirius XM, understands this as well, in that we're not changing their minds with the facts or the truth. And so it has to be something that will impact them personally to make them turn their backs, or at least accept the truth. And I would recommend that if you're someone who's currently frustrated, which we all are, right? Stay in the realm where the truth lives, right? Share the meme that I just talked about MAGA killed a MAGA, but they're blaming Democrats. Make that make sense. And also, supporting Jimmy Kimmel right now is a very important thing. It's incredibly important that we stress that any suppression of free speech, if they do it to him, they do it to all of us at the same time. And I suggest that when Sinclair plays their bullshit Charlie Kirk tribute or whatever it's going to be, Jimmy Kimmel, I don't know if you're watching, I don't know if you're listening, you have an open invitation to join us at any time, but I think Jimmy Kimmel should go on live across all of his socials for the same exact amount of time, doing a 1-hour special just on the Epstein files in honor of Charlie Kirk, in memory of Charlie Kirk. Here's a full hour on the Epstein files, because one of Charlie Kirk's last wishes on this planet in this life is to release the Epstein files, So we should do that. We should push for that. That is a true thing. That's a true thing that MAGA can't pop us for. So
hope springs eternal. Okay, what they can't pop us for, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. They will criticize everything. They will hold alternate views in the same sentence. They'll, depending on what is politically convenient for them at the time. It's not a rational ideology, and it's based in lies. The whole thing is based in lies, and they are naked. They are standing naked in front of the world, just how much they hate this country and want this country torn apart. They have, that's why when they go on about how liberals, the loony left, it's all the violence, there's no both sides, it comes from the left. Bullshit. And because, the ADL and other studies that say 75% of political violence originates from the right, and in fact left-wing violence a lot of times is focused on property damage, not murder and things like that.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a fact too. And
Yeah.
they, if see, you don't. We know that they're not sincere partners in governance because they're lying. They don't want to fix our problems. We have a problem. That was horrible. What happened to Charlie Kirk, and it should never have happened.
No.
But the fact that they're using it, in my opinion, proves that they don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. They're not trying to make his murder mean something.
No.
Or not at all. Not in a positive way. That's for sure.
Not in any way. Not really. What they are doing is they're using him as a political pawn to distract from the Epstein files. And let's just take a moment here to remember Charlie Kirk wanted the full Epstein files released. Donald Trump just flew to England, where they wrapped Windsor Castle in the world's largest photo of him and Jeffrey Epstein. The British press has been relentless about Epstein, and there is a channel in England that is doing nothing but playing a loop of clips of all of the lies Donald Trump has told.
Yeah, and it's not a loop, though, because it's a rather long, straight-ass...
if they ever get to the end, it'll loop back. But the point is, Donald Trump can't do anything to the British press. Donald Trump can't do anything to a British TV presenter. Like, I don't know, if Graham Norton went on BBC and he was like, oh, Donald Trump, he's a wee lad. He's got to, whatever Graham Norton would say. Donald Trump can't do anything. But he can pop Jimmy Kimmel. He can find an American scapegoat to distract from the embarrassment that he is over in England, stuffed into a tuxedo, like 500 buckets of shit in a penguin carcass. And he's so embarrassing, he can't even get out a sentence. But he can reach across the ocean and tell Brendan Carr to fuck with Jimmy Kimmel to get everyone to stop talking about what's happening over there. And I will also tell everybody on my Twitter right now, and I think it's everywhere really now. In 2019, Brendan Carr tweeted that he absolutely did not believe that the government should censor things that they did not like on TV. It is circulating. I have a screenshot of it on my Twitter account. In 2019, when Donald Trump was in office the first time, the FCC chairperson was a woman named Jessica Rosenworcel. Jessica Rosenworcel's cousin Brian, by the way, is the drummer for the band Guster. Just cool little connection there. So in 2019, she wrote an op-ed for USA Today, which is a very, straightforward. Yeah, I got my COVID vaccine scheduled. Hurrah! Thanks, Oregon. And so she wrote this op-ed that basically said, it's not the government's role to censor television, and people have a choice, and the First Amendment, and la la la. So the irony of all of that is that Jessica Rosenworcel was fired in January by Donald Trump and replaced by who? Brendan Carr. So we have come full circle on that one, and he's a full-on Trumpocrat. And you cannot, what changed between 2019 and 2025? What's different now? I just can't think of it.
They have no honor. They have no decency. And this is another thing that the Democrats need to be pointing out. The hypocrisy, the illegitimacy, the insincerity that they are not trying to govern a country as a constitutionally limited democratic republic nation of laws. They're trying to divide, and they're trying, and it's not just about the Epstein files, I believe. It's about, they see the blood in the water, they smell the blood in the water, and they're a little bit further along the line of smashing pesky liberal democracy once and for all. And yes, and the Trump loves it because it distracts from the Epstein files, of course.
Such a stooge.
Which he's all over the Epstein files. Of course,
enough already. And one of the things that I'm doing, rather than, it's about we have to, that meme, the one with the
which one?
That one. That chart, the one below him and his tiny penis. That one. That meme is everything that is happening with Charlie Kirk right now.
Yeah.
Did Democrats do it? Was it good? Was it bad? Not good enough? Fuck Democrats. Yeah. Fuck Democrats. Did Republicans do it? Was it good? Was it bad? Why didn't Democrats do it? Why didn't Joe Biden release the Epstein files?
That's right.
Democrats allowed them to do it. I don't know, murder Charlie Kirk. Fuck Democrats. Not our fault. It is fucking not our fault, you bunch of snowflake babies. I
Right.
should not get death threats because you had a bad feeling about something. And one of the things that we talk about over and over and over is the truth is often something we don't like. It's just something we have to accept. It's a reality we all live in. It's just part of life. There are things that you can't change that you deal with and accept. I'm only 5 feet tall. The most I can do about that is wear some heels. But honestly, there's really nothing I can do about that. I can't wake up tomorrow 5'8" because I pray for it. I can't go get an operation to make my body longer. There are limitations in life. If you don't learn how to accept them, then you're a spoiled fucking baby named Donald Trump. So,
Yeah,
who's,
but
by
let
the
me
way,
ask you a
still
question,
busting.
though. Let
Yeah,
me
go
ask
ahead,
you a
bring it.
question. What's the, because you say, the truth doesn't matter, doesn't care, or whatever. I don't know how you just
Yeah.
put it, but
The truth doesn't care about your feelings is
yes, that's
really
how
the
you said
bottom
it.
line,
And,
right?
but
Yeah.
I just have I'm going to pose it to you and the chat room.
Mhm.
Tell me one true thing that Republicans are saying right now. Tell me one true thing. And maybe I'm missing it because I have, my beautiful eyes have liberal blinders on, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
Tell
a
me,
good talking point. What are they saying that's true
what's
right
the
now? That
truth?
irrefutable truth. Irrefutable
Yeah,
truth.
I mean, there's no.
Maybe,
You can have an
well, let's
opinion, of
see.
course, but I
Yeah.
mean, like for example, the baboon. No offense to baboons, just designated Antifa a terrorist organization. What is Antifa? Where do you send your dues? Where's the
Where's the
headquarters?
clubhouse?
Where
Exactly.
who's the leader?
Who's
Where
in charge?
it's Antifa is
Who's
not, and they know this. It's not
I know
an
that.
organization. It's an
No, and they know
ideal. It's like
this.
saying I'm a vegetarian or something. I believe
Where's
in
your headquarters? Where's your
right,
headquarters? Where
right.
do
Where
y'all
do you
get
put your
together?
dues? Or
Yeah.
it's so
It's
that in
stupid.
itself. While the FBI knows they took it off the internet that right wing these right wing militia groups and white nationalist groups are the greatest domestic terrorist threat to the country. They took those studies off the FBI website, and now Antifa, this nothing organization, which is not an organization, this idea is a terrorist, domestic terrorist group. So
It's so stupid.
give me a break.
Does it? Okay, so here's the thing. Most Americans are against fascism. Even if they don't know that they're against fascism, even if they don't know the word fascism or they don't know the definition of fascism, they're against fascism.
Oh, they don't know.
They don't
Yeah.
they don't want anybody controlling what they do or say or how they live or who they love or any of those things. They are anti-fascism, which is why one of the main things America was founded for is freedom of speech, freedom to practice your religion. This is not a Christian nation, it's a free nation. It's all free. So it's what's fascinating is that the MAGA people don't understand that the thing that they're doing to Jimmy Kimmel, they could easily do to someone that they like.
Yes, but
And they're not, but they could if you turn, because there is internal fighting on the right. So if one of them steps up and says, like Tucker Carlson is speaking out against the way Donald Trump is using Charlie Kirk's murder. Tucker Carlson.
But the point is that they don't see. This is why it's so sinister, even more than what you're saying. That yes, it could happen to them, but only if they lose power. You understand? Only if they get kicked out of office and Democrats get into office and they decide to turn the mechanisms of government against them. They don't ever plan on losing power. That's why it doesn't hit home to them. They're trying to entrench power. They're following Viktor Orban's playbook. Viktor Orban, who was funded by George Soros, right, years ago, and now is the head of what he calls an illiberal democracy. They're following the playbook, and it starts with. And just like it started with the Nazis, how did the Nazis grow in power in the late 20s, early 20s, and late 20s,
Exactly like
and early
this.
30s? They took over a newspaper. There was a failing newspaper, and they had a funder, a rich benefactor, and he bought this newspaper for the Nazis, and that's how they started to get their swill into the public, into the whole the public, mindset, the zeitgeist, and so that's how it starts. And but it's not how it ends. And this is what they're doing. They're following this chilling act of suppressing free speech of a comedian.
Because they saw that it worked.
Right.
Yes,
They
saw that it worked in the past.
That's not a coincidence. They go to Hungary for CPAC, and they invite Viktor Orban here. They use trans people as the whipping post, the cudgels. Everything is, and that's why Trump is such a filthy fascist liar. As you know, they can't even criticize the left with anything real, because he'll go on and say, "Oh, they're all violent. They all want to kill you," and they want they want men and women sports. It's it's like all this. That's all they say. That's all they say.
Yeah.
They don't do they say they want everyone to have health care. They want everyone to have living wages and have freedom of speech and live in peace and security and retire in dignity. No,
they do not. I have a question for you. Question for you related to. Thank you. Good to know. Question regarding this whole Democrats getting back in power. Let's just play some fast and loose with some future prognosticating. I'm not psychic, but sometimes they call me Nostradamus because I know what I have an idea of what could happen. Let's just posit that Donald Trump perhaps is no longer alive.
Oh, okay.
Before November 2026. True. Let's just say, okay, he's not there anymore. This figurehead that they do not have JD Vance is not a Trump in waiting. He's not like him. No. He doesn't have the same kind of draw. He doesn't have the same kind of power over people.
Or
MAGA
charisma.
People don't
he's
like
horrible.
JD Vance. Or he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the pull. He doesn't have the draw. He doesn't have the gravitas. He doesn't have the ability to scare people the way Trump does. He doesn't have any Trump.
Yeah.
He's not Trumpy. He's not a replacement for Trump at all. They don't have one. They don't really have one like him. True. So let's just say there's no Trump. Democrats return to power in 2026. I don't think you see an uprising from MAGA like that. I think they don't have a figurehead pushing them with the violent rhetoric. Yeah. Maybe it'll be more like a dissipation of that energy, and they shift the way that they do. I mean, who knows? But I would say let's not let that get ahead of us too much, because what we have to deal with right now is what's happening right now.
Hoping that he, goes and slips off the mortal coil isn't really a effective plane game. Legally and peacefully, but it's not exactly a something that we can all hang our hats on. After all, but
it's
I mean,
something to consider.
But he will also see this is the other thing, just like what they're doing with the media. They are controlling the corporate media, putting minders into the CBS. Edward R. Murrow is rolling in his grave, and they have minders in CBS newsrooms now to check for bias. And what's this bias? What's bias? That is you telling the truth about the baboon, and no offense to baboons, and but they're doing the same thing that happened and it's not just CBS, it's ABC.
They're all bending a knee, and they're getting rid of the truth tellers, which is why supporting independent media could not be more important.
That's right.
Right now, I want to tell you, moments after the news about Jimmy Kimmel dropped, there was already an email in my inbox from Midas Touch saying, "Hey, Jimmy, come be with us." Right? So here is where you're going to get the truth. You're going to get the truth on Political Voices. You're going to get the truth from Midas Touch and anybody who's connected. We're all connected in that way, right? We're all invested in the truth. We're all connected in that we're being attacked for telling the truth, and we need to be a destination and a safe space for the truth, which is why we need our Democratic press secretary and a daily Democratic press briefing.
Yes,
and
as long as they get the, what I mean, as long you can have the press secretary. What if you had a press conference and nobody came? It has to get.
We've talked about that with Sherry, why it should be her. we talked about that. If a Democratic press secretary is going to stand up and say things that are going to impact Republicans that Republicans aren't going to like, you can bet the media will be there to cover it. And someone like Sherry,
I hope so.
Because Peter Ducey would show up and be like, what's she going to do? I'm going to fuck with her. And she'd be like, nice try, Peter, but. And so that's what, and it's something that, because they get the chance to cement a lie before anybody else can come and break it up with the truth. And so a Democratic press briefing every single day, either they do it before the daily briefing or they do it immediately after, so that their lies can't be the preliminary discussion.
And you know what they should, and if it is Sherry Jacobus who does the press briefing, which would be wonderful, she should say to the press, I'm not here, to yell at you to yell lies at you like my counterpart in the so-called White House press room. That's all they do is yell and condescend, and they treat people with manifest disrespect, because that's supposed to cover up for the lies. So it's like a bully, screaming and yelling at you, and you're like, that's supposed to it's supposed to compensate. It's supposed to get you off your balance, and it's supposed to overcompensate for the fact that they're lying to you. So don't even challenge me on my lies, because you think I'm yelling now. Wait until you see when you challenge me, right? And that's what it is.
Whoever's loudest is right. No, Scott Jennings. So it's
and that's it though. But that's why the Democrats need to point out that there they go again, yelling as if yelling compensates for lies. Things like that. You have to use their bad behavior against them, because I guess somewhere in Maggotville they think this is strength, that this is how you behave. But
the things that they embrace, and again, we did talk about this with Dr. Jeffrey Grammer the other day. And by the way, if you missed Tuesday's show, I really recommend you listen. Put in your earbuds, clean your house or whatever, walk around, listen to it. His advice was very sage and practical. I want to tell you, the ledge that I've been on this last week, it's, I forgot what I was going to say, actually. It's really important that, in talking about a daily press briefing, getting the messaging out to the bulk of America that's not on social media. Because as we've said over and over again, most people aren't on Twitter. And when this Charlie Kirk thing happened, so many people in this country had no idea what a groiper was, because they're not on Twitter. They don't know what that fucking frog means. They have no idea how they operate. They don't know, what's actually going on, which is why. So I don't want to name names, but I spoke with someone who works for a Democratic congressman yesterday. We spoke for about a half an hour about ideas, moving our messaging forward. We talked about the Democratic press secretary as one way to keep putting our messaging out there, and they thought it was a great idea. The other thing that I said was that we need a House oversight hearing regarding the harassment from MAGA. Not just now, maybe over the last decade, like how it's grown over the last decade, how they swarm, how they swat, how they dox, how they harass, but
how they lie, how they, conflate.
But this time around is different from all of the other times that I've been harassed and threatened. This is different in that, in the volume, and also they are being not just encouraged, but they are being assisted by both the White House and Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Republican members of Congress are walking around saying they shot Charlie
It's an
Kirk.
incitement. They're inciting people to violence. It's the Hearst vesseling of Charlie Kirk.
Yes.
Republicans
are theying us. They are theying us when it was one individual who shot one shot and killed one person instead of spraying a church or a school or a theater with an AR-15. He had his hunting rifle. And another point that Democrats have made, that there's no way this kid was one of ours. There are some Democrats who are raised with guns in their homes, like people who grow up in more rural areas, like a Bernie Sanders in Vermont. He has to represent people who go hunting, who are Democrats or liberals or whatever, however, or independents, whatever. But we don't really do that. It's not really our thing. It's not like you don't really see Democrats posting a photo of them with a buck that they shot or a dead animal they killed on safari.
Disgusting.
Not really our milieu. Most Democrats have an F rating from the NRA. Most Democrats in Congress do. No Democrat has an A rating. Okay, not even the ones who say that they are sensible gun owners, because there are sensible gun owners. But the point being, no Democrat who, if you put a hunting rifle like that kid had, which he grew up with, like that's been his rifle forever. His dad gave it to him. They went out hunting together. His dad taught him how to use it. Get the buck in your shot, hold your breath, wait for your moment, all of those things. No Democrat has really been taught that so much. You're not like, if you put a hunting rifle in an average Democrat's hands, they would probably end up falling over from the recoil, and definitely would not have hit Charlie Kirk from that distance. Just it's virtually impossible to accept that scenario, considering one person is in custody, one person has 10 counts against him, despite that bullshit thing that they wrote in Russian and translated it with ChatGPT.
It was a $2,000 scope he wrote on there, and they grabbed some crazy old dude. No, I mean the whole thing is, do we even know who this person is? No, we don't have the full story. It's all being muddied, and it doesn't matter either way, because this is somebody who is not well. It doesn't represent an ideology, but they never miss an opportunity to divide and lie.
They don't.
They really don't.
And it, another thing that I have been pointing out is I'm old enough to remember the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan, and at that time, we just blamed John Hinckley because he was the guy who attempted to kill Ronald Reagan and shot James Brady, and put him in a wheelchair for life. So we didn't say, oh my God, the Democrats did that because reasons. That did not happen in 1980. That did not happen. I mean, I don't know if it's social media or it's, the rise
going on
of
with
Trump
my camera.
Or whatever.
It's very weird.
What?
I don't know.
Your
it's
camera,
like,
you look fine to me. You look
fine
to me.
Weird. It was just going a little.
You look
all right. Well,
you
whatever.
Look fabulous as always. Anyway, what I'm saying is, back in the day that was pre-Trump, we were able to hold individuals accountable for their individual actions that were illegal. We did not blame half the voting population of the country for it. We held individuals responsible. Was he raised in a gun culture in Utah by MAGA parents? Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And by the way, I don't care if he walked around his apartment with his roommates wearing a dress, wearing fishnets, if he went to Rocky Horror, if he did internet searches for trans porn, because that is the #1 researched item in red states on the internet. Did you know that?
Yes.
The #1 searched item in the internet's in the red state, transgender porn. So they have the problem. It doesn't really matter what a shooter does in their bedroom, because it doesn't matter what any of us do. What matters is that he's the only one who pulled the trigger and killed somebody. Yeah. That's what matters.
But he shouldn't have had a gun. He shouldn't have been raised to be this gun-suckling right-winger, I guess. I don't know. And who knows? To consider violence as some kind of solution to whatever frustrations he had, or whatever the stupid rationalization. There's nothing to rationalize it, but it's just, it's another 22-year-old, a young man without a fully developed prefrontal cortex that has access to weapons of war. And they're like, it's not
internet, and the culture, the white dude culture. And it's another thing that Dr. Jeff talked about with us on Tuesday, the loneliness epidemic of these young white men who feel isolated for whatever reason. They just feel that way. I don't know why. I can't speak to that, because my two sons, who are now 26 and 22, have no interest in gun culture. They didn't play gun games when they were kids. My older son has played some of those games, but he didn't go out and buy a gun, has no interest. It's just not, I think it's absolutely nature versus nurture. And this kid clearly had mental health issues that we don't know about because normal people don't say, my feelings are hurt, I'm going to go kill people. So, we
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
We may
true.
never know because of the sources. But what the larger problem is members of Congress seizing upon this to give them reason to attack Democrats. And the ultimate case point of the case study here is Nancy Mace, who is fucking insane. She's insane.
It's the worst.
She was already insane, right? She harassed her constituent in Ulta and basically doxed him and made his life miserable, and she's crazy. And then she put on that show with the Epstein survivors and made it about her, and she stood there at the press conference.
I know.
And then, but still, then immediately started chasing Trump's approval. Immediately. She never once cared about the Epstein survivors, and she still doesn't. So now she's decided to go after Ilhan Omar because she accused Ilhan of making statements about Charlie Kirk's death that she did not make, that she did not say. Nancy Mace is the crazy cuckoo bananas one who should be censured. And I want you to all know, Ilhan has reacted beautifully in that she's kept her temper. She's kept her calm. She's just replied to Nancy like, nope, that's you. Nope, you did that, babe. That's you. This is you. Nancy Mace is the one who should be censored. But they have been going after Ilhan forever because she's a dark-skinned black woman. Oh my God.
Yeah. I know.
Oh no, the light ones are fine. We can tolerate the light ones, but the dark ones, no.
Well, she wears a hijab,
Oh
so,
no.
And that's
religious freedom in America.
And that's how Republican, everything that they stand on is bullshit. If anything, Ilhan Omar, she certainly seems like a rugged individual to me. She's the only one isn't she? The only one in the house that wears a hijab and is still doing her duty to the country and the Constitution that she took an oath to do her best for her community, in spite of the constant assault, and the hate that's spewed on her by the right.
That's right.
So
that is correct. And I would much rather have an Ilhan Omar representing me in Congress than a Nancy Mace, because Nancy Mace doesn't represent me.
And she's
Nancy
got no
Mace
courage. She's weak. She's weak.
My God.
She's a bully.
Have you seen her?
She's kiss up, kick down.
So Nancy Mace has given herself a granny makeover. Maybe she went to
no,
Ulta
really?
and she was testifying somewhere. She was speaking on camera somewhere. She's wearing glasses like this.
Oh no.
She's got
she's so
a shirt onto the collar, in big old earrings, and she looks like she's doing the coastal grandma but wrong. When not that long ago she was all about the tightest to show off her new boobs and her scarlet A on her boobs, and everything was about her boobs up to her. She has no friends. Obviously she has no black friends because she's attacking Ilhan Omar like this, but she really has no friends. You never see her hanging out, not even with Marjorie and Lauren and Anna Paulina and all of the other cuckoo banana MAGA mean girls. You don't see them with her because they don't like her. They don't like her.
Who does? Only one who could stand her is Boebert, because they both beat up on trans people. She said, you know that whole story when they thought that Melissa McBride was in the bathroom, and she's like, oh, there's a dude in here, and then she ran out to get Nancy Mace. I mean, it's just like it's like brought me back to like high school. Exactly. You're grown ass representatives. You got to get your girlfriend to go smash and bang the door of the bathroom and slam the door and scream at people in the bathrooms because you think somebody's taking a pee that shouldn't be there. I mean, fuck off.
So I wonder what would happen. What happens when Nancy Mace and Caitlyn Jenner are at Mar-a-Lago together? Do they use the same bathroom?
Nothing.
Do they insist that Caitlyn use the porta potty off the 9th hole? I don't know. I'm assuming not.
She will do nothing. That's Nancy Mace. She's a coward. She will never.
Banana.
Yeah.
She's the one who should be censured because she was calling for the death penalty. She was calling the shooter a quote unquote tranny and blaming Democrats before they knew it was Tyler Robinson.
She's horrible.
Okay? And now this bullshit grinder fan fiction, the shit that I get in my replies is, he was a liberal tranny furry. What? None of those things are true. He was
Well, we
MAGA.
don't
He
really
was
know all the
well,
whole story because there's so
we
many.
don't.
We don't because
Right.
he's not speaking and everything is bullshit that we're heaaring.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
But
He's
first
a
and
he's a
foremost,
murderer.
he was first and foremost identified as a follower of Nick Fuentes. So that was the and you know what? Here's another thing that happens in this MAGA ridiculousness. Usually the first thing you hear about these people is true, and then they try to back off and refute it and bulldoze over it. So if the first thing that we heard about
don't bang the table.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not banging. The first thing that we heard. I gotcha. The first thing that we heard, not trans, not Democrat, not liberal, not anything. We heard Gripper. That was the first thing that I heard about him.
Oh, well, no, they first thing, I mean, maybe that's what you heard, but the first thing I heard was it's them. It's a liberal,
No.
you know, let's all get them.
To them. I wasn't listening to the noise, right? And that's the other thing that we have to remember to do going forward. Stop listening to the noisemakers, your DC Drano, your Timcast, your Cat Turd. Don't listen to the noisemakers. Listen to the lawmakers and Democratic lawmakers. Listen to the Democratic lawmakers. They're not going to lie to us. Maybe they don't tell you the entire story, but they don't lie when it comes to things that are important like this. So, and also even listening to the Republican lawmakers, I'm like, that's your line of bullshit today. This is how I'm going to deal with you, because the lawmakers are the ones who have the impact on our daily lives, not really the noisemakers. The noisemakers are there to distract us and ruin our day on social media. The lawmakers are the ones who can stand in Congress and change our lives.
No, I have to disagree because they are taking their orders from these maggots online. I just wrote a story about it. How there was an officer, a doctor who was fired by Pete Hegseth because of libs of TikTok tweeted at him that this military officer was in charge of the Center for Transgender Healthcare and
fucking health.
and she tweets this at Pete Hegseth, and within hours he tweets back pronouns fired, something like that, you know, some stupid but he's taking orders from libs of TikTok. Okay.
Who, by the way, blocked me on Twitter forever ago. So fuck you, Shia. So brave.
It's disgusting.
You're so brave behind your screens. You're so brave.
But I mean, it's terrifying that
it is
a woman's, you know, a military career, a distinguished military career, is so flippantly disposed of because of some of a hate account. That's what libs of TikTok is.
The worst.
And so the Southern Poverty Law Center calls her an extremist. But the other thing is, I mean, the other underlying message there is that it's fascist, of course, because what are you saying? Trans people shouldn't have health care? You know, if you treat them, if you're a medical doctor and you treat trans human beings, that's a fireable offense now?
No,
right?
That's actually their job, because the Hippocratic Oath, the first word, it's first do no harm.
Yeah.
Every doctor
that's
takes
what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she is a really special exception. Like she blocked me forever ago, but she also has a different account that's at Shia Raichik, her real name. She was one of the MAGA influencers dancing around with those binders full of blacked out lines. It's fascinating to me, just, you know, because, and we talked about this with Dr. Jeffrey the other day, fascinating to me on a sociological level that you allow yourself to continue to be lied to, and you continue to help them lie. Like, they gave you a binder full of bullshit, and you were like, fine with it. Or at first they were like, wait. They're protecting, they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to say.
They're dupes, useless idiots.
Someone's calling me from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I don't know anybody from San Juan, Puerto Rico.
I wouldn't answer it.
I'm not going to, but I could be getting doxxed right now. I could be getting doxxed right now. I don't know anyone in San Juan.
Well, I told you what to do about that, but, you know, you don't listen. So, you know, you're going to get those calls.
Do you know, and what did Dr. Jeff say when we
Well,
were talking?
I've honestly, in my opinion, I felt like he was, didn't want to get in the middle of it. He was kind of enabling the
Poor guy.
Yeah, because I mean, if
spent
you
some time with us after the
it's
show
like,
on Tuesday,
yeah.
So
No, I mean, because I told Tara to change her number, and then you get it.
I'm not giving it to them.
Yeah, but I mean,
that gives them
it's not
something.
your life.
That gives them
It's not your
something of
life. It's a
mine
number. It's a number.
that
It's
I've
not
had
your life.
since 2001.
Yeah, but I had
number.
to change my number.
I know what
You know.
what? What did Dr. Jeff say to us when we were?
He
on
said,
the
whatever
you
feel your level of taking care is, then that's fine. But okay, then you'll just have to accept the abuse that comes in. That's all. It's not.
No, I don't. I don't accept
but what are you
shit.
doing? Yeah, of course. They're just going to keep doing it.
Deleting, blocking. You think I'm not going to answer that phone call? I'm not going to call them back.
Yeah, but I guess once you show it and then they see they're successful, then they know they have your number, and then they're going to get encouraged. They're going to.
This is what they do.
Yeah,
Just so you
know.
I
hear you. I had the same situation. All right, whatever.
Learn from me. Learn from me. One of the things that Dr. Jeffrey said to us when we were off the air on Tuesday was that it's really important for you to act in a way that feels authentic. And when you make decisions for yourself based on what other people... let me finish what he said.
I had a lot of therapy too. He's a great doctor. He was great.
He's great. And I really appreciated it. And I wrote him an email and he responded to my email. And we are having a ongoing discussion, he and I very much appreciate it. One of the things that he said, because he was listening to us before he joined us, he had looked at my Twitter. He had looked at the way I was responding. He looked at the threats. He looked at some of the responses. And what he said to me that I recall him saying on Tuesday was, I don't see you making impulsive decisions. I don't see you making irrational decisions. I see you making very well thought out decisions. I see you drawing very specific boundaries and letting people know there are things that you will not tolerate. And what you need to do is be proud and serene with your journey.
Okay.
And I wrote it. I wrote it on this card that I have. This is a Van Gogh painting. And I wrote it on this to make an affirmation for myself. And what did I promise you? I promised you if it gets worse, I will take care of it, and I will do what I have to do. The police are aware, and the FBI are aware. I will continue to give them the numbers that call me and dox me. I will continue to send them. That thing from the phone number that I just showed people. Now I'm getting a text, and it says with a name, and it says that they're an agent with the FBI.
Oh, good.
So I don't know.
Because you just said it. You just said I gave it to the FBI. They're fucking getting encouraged. We're listening to you react to it.
The
online,
Puerto Rico phone number is
air.
Allegedly FBI. I'll find out. I'll find out for real.
No.
I'll find. You think I'm going to respond? No. The person I'm going to call first is my senator's person who called me while we were on the air saying, I want to talk to you about the harassment you're receiving. My Senator Ron Wyden is hopefully going to be able to join us next Thursday. It's very tentative. But he is holding a town hall here in Portland, in Multnomah County, next Friday. So if you're someone who's in Portland or in Oregon or in the surrounding areas of Multnomah County, he's also doing one in Lane County next week. So, but if you're someone who can physically show up in person to talk to him, I think you should. I'm going to go to his town hall. The question is about showing them a united front in response, which is you're not going to intimidate us into silence, because when something like this happens to one of us, it happens to all of us.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying.
You're not right.
You're not adjusting your life by, let's say, not doing the show, not speaking out, not maintaining your activist, work. But being harassed on a phone, is not. I mean, you're not your phone. You're not your phone number. And
I know I'm not my phone number.
So that's not. You're not changing your life. You're changing your phone. That's all.
But that is changing my life, because I've had it since 2001, and everybody I know has it, and I don't know who has it in my life that needs it. Right. So
yeah, but they could get you on Twitter. That's what I said to myself. When I changed my phone number, I said, if I, of course, it's a pain in the ass, but you do it. And then, of course, I missed a couple of people. And then they got me on Facebook or on Discord, or there's many ways. They say, oh, what happened? I tried to
How
text
many times have I said to you, if they want to get to you, they will. Nothing is going to stop them. Okay? But I live in a secure building. And I will also say, which is what I also said to you and to the doctor off the air, I'm not important enough that they would risk going to prison.
That's why you're an easy target. So, and you don't know. There's freaks out there that might fixate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, even if you're not someone doing a podcast, that someone might, for whatever reason, fixate on you, and
I have been living with this for 10 years. There's stuff that gets in, and then stuff that does not. Okay, this is the first time that anything has bothered me since like 2016. Aside from the Matt Gaetz shit that happened in 2021, that was real. That was very real. When you have a sitting member of Congress actively harassing you and recommending everybody follow you, harass me, like that's bad. And House Ethics did nothing, and nobody did anything, and that's wrong. And all of his tweets about me are still live, and his podcast about me still exists. And if people want to dig, they'll find their shit. And if people want to harass you, I also said that they let this do 99% of the heavy lifting for them because they want us to be silent and they want us to be scared and they want us to stop telling the truth.
Yeah, but every time you're like, oh my God, they're coming again. And it validates their abuse.
I'm not, oh my Godding. It's
all
like,
right, whatever.
I'm so used to it, and most of it is stupid. It's stupid. But like I said, because I am sitting here on a podcast, on a camera where people can see me and people can see my life, they might as well learn from the experience that I'm having so that if it happens to them, they know what to do. If anybody does this to you, you don't respond, you report it. You block it. That's what you do. It's
Thank you, Stephanie, on the chat. Thank you, Stephanie.
What'd she
Read the chat.
Okay, Stephanie.
Calm down, Dublin. Devlin is right. Devlin is right.
Okay. All right. We are both right.
She's getting mad.
We're both right. And I'll tell you why we're both right. She is right to feel concerned. Right. Shh. Listen. We're both right in that. She has every right to feel concerned. I feel very, very lucky to have people care about me. Believe me, I do not take any of it lightly, and I don't blow it off. When you say you're worried about me, that means a lot. Because I don't have a partner here who's like, hey, babe, I'm worried about you. That doesn't exist. So I have friends and I have friends, right? I have my family and all of that. And I have good people who are invested in my well-being, who are in the government, which is great. You're not wrong. And I told you, if it gets worse and I feel if I feel worse than what I was feeling, then I will take those steps. I don't feel like I have to do that at the moment.
One day at a time.
We'll see. I hope not. I have not had to take I've already had to move once. That was bad enough that I had to do that. So we'll see if I have to put up another barrier between me and them. But again, I will also say that the response from the MAGA people on Twitter is worse than the text I got. And also, I should maybe thank them, because thanks to that kind of engagement, I got my highest payout from Twitter ever on Friday. I mean, it wasn't even $75. But okay, thanks, Nazis. Thank you. You're paying me to deal with you. Okay, I'm fine. I also put out an offer to Elon again today, which I do sporadically. If he just gave me all the money that Catturd, Tim Cast, and Benny Johnson make in a year, I would delete my Twitter today. I would delete it today.
That would be nice.
That'd be over $1 million. That'd be like $3 million.
What did Hal tell you on Monday? Stephanie's saying, remember what Hal told you on Monday, Dublin.
He told me a lot of things, but I don't remember. You'll have to be a little more specific, Stephanie.
Anyway,
don't worry
about the music. We have the music is. We got a minute.
I know it's a suggestion. But anyway, so if you're concerned, I don't take it lightly. I'm not blowing you off. I'm not.
I know.
I don't think I'm impervious. Okay. But here is what I will ask. Supporting us matters now more than ever. So if you can kick down $5 to the Venmos, or you can sign up for a paid Substack, or you can buy my book, The Sound of Settling, a rock and roll love story. My goal is to live a life where I don't have to be here every day screaming into the ether of the internet. I would rather be promoting my book and making the streaming series, which would keep me away from all of this shit. But I care too much right now about all of our First Amendment rights, which allows me to wear this shirt and talk to you and say, I love you, my friend, and I thank you for being you. And I'm so grateful that you came into my life, and that I am grateful for every single person in the chat. Grateful for every person in the chat. I'm grateful for Jim for moderating.
Yep.
I'm grateful. What did Stephanie say about Hal?
She just said that you should. She said, "What did Hal say to you on Monday?"
He said a lot of things. He said a lot of things. Said a lot of things, but I don't remember
specified.
If there's a specific, just drop it in my DM on Blue Sky or Insta. I don't take advice lightly, and I don't blow people off. But like, people have given me advice, like, go buy a gun. No, I'm not buying a gun.
That's what Mike Malloy had to do. You know.
Well, I'm not Mike Malloy. I don't have this much power. I don't have that power. I don't have a million.
It's real,
followers.
though. The maggot is real. You know?
I know the maggot is real, but a maggot is going to target someone who actually has a lot more influence.
You don't know that. They're going to it's harder to get to people with more, because they have more, they have more gatekeepers. So.
Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for your continued support. Remember, we are all in this together. I personally would like to say on the record, on film, I'm not suicidal. And I don't want anyone to die because of Donald Trump. Not anyone who voted for him. Not anyone who didn't. And by the way, Fox News authenticated that it was Donald Trump's signature on the Epstein birthday letter, which means Donald Trump lies to MAGA every day about the Epstein files. You want to fight back?
And he's a
pedophile.
Fight back.
Fight with the truth. Fight with the truth and ask them, why do you let Donald Trump lie to you? Why do you let Donald Trump, if you want to engage, stay there and use their tactics against them. Don't let them get you distracted. You do to them what they do to us. When they come at you with a Charlie Kirk, say, why do you let Trump lie to you about the Epstein files and move it away from Charlie Kirk? They don't like that. They really aren't liking that, and it's a very successful tactic. So learn from us. We are here in that I'm right in that I'm not going to give them the satisfaction they want. You are right in that I have to be careful and make sure I'm protected.
You shouldn't show that on the air. You shouldn't.
I didn't know what it was. I'm just
saying, because it does give them, obviously they're watching, okay? And it gives them encouragement to, I have her number. It's correct. I must have the correct number. And then it's only going to encourage. It's only going to make, then they'll spread it. They'll get it, you know what I'm saying? So, all right. I'm putting the Tara Buster thing in there.
We're going
tomorrow.
We're going now.
Hang out
have fun
tomorrow.
On by the way, if you're still with us, we will be with our buddy John Fugelsang tonight on Sirius XM. And I'll be interested in getting his take on all of these good Christians.
I would like to hear what he says.
Threatening my life. All these good MAGA Christians with the crosses in their names threatening my life. I want to know where in the Bible it says you should shoot your enemies when one of yours kills somebody. I don't think it says that in the Bible. So I want to check with John, though, because I'm not a biblical scholar. He is. All right, everybody. I love you. Thank you. By the Sound of Settling. Sign up for our Substacks.
Yes.
And be good to each other.
Right. If you can, become a paid subscriber to our Substacks, because, this is how we
I actually have to buy a new iPhone. I also have to get a new phone. My phone is broken. I can't charge it anymore.
Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
So,
you know, when it rains, it pours. That's fine. Anyway, we will see you back here on Tuesday when our guest will be the wonderful Malcolm Nance. And we can talk to him about national security. Oh, God,
that's going to be good.
Very timely, very timely. So we'll see you tonight with John Fugelsang. You'll see Tara tomorrow night on Tara Buster. And you'll see all of us back here on Tuesday.
See you soon.